Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It is absolutely beautiful out, but a little bit chilly. Got out of the house today and decided it was a great opportunity to make another video. So today we're going to talk about the adventure, where it came from, what it developed into, and what it is now. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Jacob Asuit. I am the owner maker of Very Good Knife Company. I'm glad you joined us for this video. Let's get into it. So the adventure started when I was making bloodline knives, and it started with this one right here. This is the original adventure. You can see it's quite a bit different from the Very Good branded adventure. It is a little longer, same blade stock, ADC RV2, but this one is powder coated. It's got the same full taper flat grind. This one has a little bit more handle. I carried this knife from the day I made it, which was October 5th, 2017, until I made this one. And I quit carrying it because the sheath split and the knife kind of just didn't want to stay in on its own anymore. It would come out with just a little bit of effort, sometimes bounce out. I got too attached to it and I didn't want to lose it. So I made this one, and this is pretty much the same pattern as the current adventure from Very Good. Now this one is stamped with 2 jakes. This is post bloodline. This one is also powder coated with the same green that this one has. And you can see that the powder coat lasts a pretty good while. It's kind of a pain. What I went to, one major difference was going from the inset screws to the Corby screws, which is a flush mount. You can see that this particular adventure that is here is very, very similar to this one. It has been ground back quite a bit. I made this one in 2021 and only recently swapped it out with the Very Good Nitro V test knife. That is my EDC currently. And this one really kind of paved the way for what the adventure is today. I took what I didn't like from this one, transferred it into this. I kind of knew right away that the back end of the handle was a little narrow and the front end of the handle was a little thick for my liking. So on the next one, I decided to cut in to that choil a little bit farther. Same full taper. I shortened it up just a little, about 1/2 inch. And now that's what we have, is the new style adventure. Same blade stock, 3/16 blade stock. Same micarta handle, although this is black. And of course, the little shoulder facets. That's kind of my signature thing. Everything from Very Good, everything from Bloodline had that. And that kind of developed from getting hung up in and out of the sheath. I didn't like how untrimmed shoulders would dig into a Kydex sheath. That made it a lot smoother. You can see that this sheath has been carried a lot. So I know that there are a couple people on the market that are doing this right now. In 2017, I had not seen anything quite like this, and I made this belt loop based on what I prefer to carry, and I like something that's flexible, something that doesn't really get hung up on a lot of things. That's why that replacement also has the same belt loop, and so does my current EDC. I will be making something like this in the future for Very Good. I have a plan for that, but for now, we're just going with the Kydex sheath. So the whole thing with the adventure, for me, I really do enjoy a thick blade stock. as long as it's tapered nice. The Adventure has a long distal taper as well as a full taper flat grind. So while it's really thick and heavy duty, very beefy, it's also very fine working because it's ground down to about 23 thousandths behind the edge, which is relatively thin for this size. I didn't want to go too much thinner on the edge because sometimes I get a little aggressive with mine, and I haven't really broken one, but I like the confidence that it gives me with the extra spine and a little bit behind the edge. Though it does still make it very slicey. It's a very slicey knife. It's a great carry knife. It is heavy. The new style Kydex sheath with that big thumb ramp also comes with the vertical belt loop, and it comes with a scout carry belt loop as well if you're into scout carry. Now, the original belt loop that I was making with these was a Kydex style belt loop, and it wasn't made to turn any certain way. It was kind of made flat to bolt in here, and it was a vertical style belt loop off of this style sheath. I decided I didn't like that, and that's why I went with the leather cover belt loop. But I have carried a lot of this style belt loop, and it works really well. It has a tendency to cant forward, also cant backwards. Can fit up to a 2-inch belt. So if you have a smaller belt, it has a little bit of play, and it won't necessarily bind up so much. Like I said, I do have plans to make the leather. But anyhow, this is pretty much what started the current adventure. You can see one more time what I called the original adventure. And it's developed quite a bit. I really like where it is now. I like the wide blade, and the handle feels like it has a lot more room than it does. So it works for small hands, big hands. I don't really have small hands, but I don't have big hands either. And I have plenty of purchase on that handle. All three of these have been great knives. This one I haven't used a whole lot. Of course, it is the same recipe as all my other ADC RV2. Specifically, this knife was one of my favorites ever, and that kind of sparked the current adventure. When I decided to go with Very Good, I knew that this was definitely going to be the first one that I make, and it was the most popular of 2023 for us. A close second was the Wasp. So it's quite a bit different than the original, for sure. You can see the original has a bow drill divot. And that powder coat is pretty worn. This one's been batoned with a lot. It's had the edge ground back quite a bit. You can see a big sway in the edge. The ADC RV2 is absolutely fantastic for a long life. These knives right here, when I say EDC, I mean I carried it every single day. It never left my belt except to change pants. And I didn't carry any other knives. I kind of have a habit of getting stuck on one knife, and that doesn't really bother me. So if you carried something like this and you got stuck to it, you would understand. You would definitely understand. Once you start using a super thick knife that has a fine edge, you start to realize that there is definitely a potential for fine use with thick blade stock, and it's not so scary. There's a lot of people out there that whine about the thick blade stock, the weight, just the look. To tell you the truth, I couldn't care less. If you don't like thick blade stocks, then maybe I'm just not for you, because most things from Very Good are thick blade stocks. Well, there you have it. I hope I was able to provide some useful insight as to the backstory of the adventure from Very Good Knife Company. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Have a good one.